Hey, aloha kākou. First of all, mahalo nui for registering. If you're seeing this video, then you've successfully registered and are an awesome living being.
You're amazing, just the way you are.
But yeah, welcome to the very first Q&A episode of He Moʻolelo Kaʻao no Noʻeau, the college era. So let me explain how this is gonna work. A bunch of you have already sent in questions that you'd like me to answer via the registration form. Mahalo for those. We'll get to those shortly. But so that you don't have to register again, every time you want to ask me a question, I've created a new Google form in which you can submit more questions, and all your questions that are submitted through that form will remain anonymous. You can find the link for that in your email or in the description part of this video. Oh, and one more thing. So I'm going to be trying to drop 3 episodes a month, 2 of which will be dedicated to the telling of my Kaʻao, and the third one will always be a Q&A episode, so I can stay engaged with you folks and answer your questions. And yeah, I think that's about it for the announcements. Okay, first question. Hold on, pulling them a bit random. How did it feel going to a school that's heavily responsible for the continued oppression of our people? Example, the TMT issue. Well, dang. Somebody just wants to get to the I-O of it all, yeah? Well, okay, let's go there then. Before I respond, I just want to make it clear that I'm speaking on behalf of myself, Noʻeau Brian in January 2022, and not on behalf of the whole Lahui. No ways. But to answer your question, I'm gonna offer you 2 perspectives. Okay, first perspective. Back when I was a college student at UH, especially during my earlier years, I was super naive and ignorant of all the things that were happening to our Lahui. I didn't really know much. I mean, I knew that a bunch of Haole guys came in and overthrew our queen at one point, and we were forced to be American, and that's about it. So yeah, if you were to ask Noʻeau or Christian, because Christian is actually what I went by back then. Because Christian Duke is my first name, and I was too ashamed back then to tell anybody I'd rather be called Noʻeau, which is my middle name, and now I'm not ashamed. Now I'd be like, hey, kala mai, but can you call me Noʻeau instead? And if they cannot pronounce it, then I'd be like, okay, this is how you pronounce it. Anyways, that's a whole nother story. So yeah, if you were to ask Christian this question, he'd be like, UH is doing what to who? How is that affecting me? I'm just here in college because that's what my family expects of me. But if you're asking me, Noʻeau, a current employee of the University of Hawaii system, I'd say this. As long as these oppressive institutions are here and running in Hawaii, we need informed Kanaka and our non-Kanaka allies in them to hold space. To hold space for when other Kanaka might show up here. Like similar to when little naive Christian showed up to college, so that we can inform each other of what's been and is going on, and so that we can just be there for one another, throughout this whole college experience. Because there's absolutely no way I would have gotten through this whole experience were it not for my amazing group of friends, which consisted of both Kanaka and non-Kanaka allies, and the whole Hawaiian Studies program. I mean, thank goodness there's a place where Kanaka can go and be like, hey look, we have a place on this campus too. We also need Kanaka here to hold the university accountable, for when it does stupid things like try to build 30-meter telescopes on sacred spaces. So again, as long as these institutions are here and operating on our aina, our presence as Kanaka within these systems is needed. But just as how we need informed Kanaka within these institutions, we also need them outside of them too, dreaming up even bigger things for our Lahui, things that are built from the ground up with our Kuana Ike. The most recent example that comes to mind is when Presley started up the whole Pu'uhuluhulu University. Shout out to you, girl, because that was nani. But okay, I hope I answered that first question. How might your Kaʻao reach those outside of Hawaii? Honestly, right now I'm just focused on getting each episode filmed, edited, recorded, posted. I mean, I can only hope that my Kaʻao is getting out to those who need to hear it. But make sure the people that you might be sharing this with registered, yeah? Mahalo, because, we need the numbers. Okay, last question for now. What are your degrees in? How did you choose them, or how did they choose you? Good question, but to find out the answer to these, you're gonna have to keep on watching. I mean, I don't want to give away any spoilers just yet.
Well, it does have—
Yeah, spoilers! See you folks in the next episode, and remember, if you have any questions, please the form. Aloha.